What up, everybody? It's your girl SherrysJoy, and I am here for another weekly book review. This week I read On a Quiet Street by Seraphina Nova Glass. This book was published in May of 2022, and I read it on my Kindle. So this book is something that I've had in my queue for not that long, I don't think. I rented it from the library under the Libby app. If you haven't done that or checked that out, you should definitely check that out. It's such a wonderful program. Shout out. So anyway, so On a Quiet Street, we have a coastal neighborhood a coastal neighborhood in Oregon, so we're on the West Coast, and the street is, or neighborhood is very ritzy. We have, a judge on the street, we have techs and everything on the, IT, people on the street, and then a bunch of housewives, right? So this book was very Wisteria Lane, and that is absolutely what I loved about the book. Wisteria Lane, Desperate Housewives, that is exactly what it reminded me of. I felt like if I was watching this, it's going to be bright and cheery, just like how Desperate Housewives was filmed. Bright and cheery, even though there's these dramatic and tragic things happening in the neighborhood. So we follow three housewives, Paige, Cora, and Georgia, and they are neighbors, and they become very friendly. So Paige and Cora have been friends for years. Georgia recently moved in, and they all become friends with, Cora and Paige become friends with Georgia. And there's a lot of gossip, it's like, it's three women, housewives. I'm not one, but I am a female and I know gossip. So I read the book. So there's a lot of gossip, oh man, what is she doing? And what is she doing with this? And what is he's doing this? And oh my goodness, type of stuff. And the story starts in the prologue, a car accident, right? So this gentleman, we don't know how old he is at the time, he's arguing with somebody, no, please don't, I love you, and just that and the fifth, right? So it kind of looks like it's a relationship argument, but you don't really know. And then all we know is that he gets hit by a car, and it's so descriptive, you can hear this is not a spoiler. It's literally the prologue. So the author, she just describes the way he hits the pavement and his skull cracks and the blood is coming out of his skull. And it's just whoa, I can feel that. Not really, but I can imagine that, right? It's very descriptive. The book is very descriptive, and I enjoy that. So it's a hit and run. And somebody does, call the police. The police are on the way. And so we find out that the person who died was Paige, her son. So she's trying to find out who done it. The neighborhood has cameras. It's a gated community, so she feels like it's somebody in the actual neighborhood. So she does a lot of investigating on her neighbors. So she becomes the nosy neighbor. And she's married. Her husband's name is Grant. And since the accident for Caleb, they have separated. They're not quite divorced, but they have definitely separated. They own a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in town. Reminds me of a piano bar type of place, but it's an actual restaurant. And Cora, she does play piano, so she plays live music from time to time in this restaurant. And really the book is about friendship and investigating what's going on with Caleb and, what happened and who was responsible for that. We find out that Cora has a daughter named Mia. She's 17 years old, and she knew Caleb. They were friends, and Mia is, she's your typical teenager. She's like, "What do you want, Mom? I'm going out," blah, 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 that type of thing. And Georgia, we learn her story, and why she can't exit the house. Like, she's got, the neighbors talk about her, and they the way it's described is agoraphobia. And when you can't step outside, you're like afraid of everything outside. So she's got that kind of a phobia thing going on, and we really find out the reason why in the book. And so the book, it has infidelity, it's got domestic abuse, we've got drugs, we've got identity crisis, and like I said, it's on the Oregon shore, coastal shore. I really don't want to give spoilers. This book, when I was reading it, I was inside the pages. I say that about a lot of things, but here's the thing. If you're not enjoying a book, if you can't visualize the book, why are you reading it? Reading is all about the enjoyment and what you love and what you like and your happiness. It's your time. It's your investment. If it's an investment for you, you're investing your time in this book. So if you're not enjoying it, put it down. Find something else, So, yeah, I enjoy getting lost in these pages and in all of the books that I read that I enjoy. So, it is a page turner. It's about 330 pages, I believe, and I read it it did take about a week for me to read it, and that's only because I had a lot of things going on this week that hindered me from really sitting down and enjoying the book on a long time basis. But I read it and it was great, and I do recommend it. I actually give this book a 4 stars, and that is because of what I disliked. I disliked the fact that towards the end of the book, it started to become a little predictable. It's like, okay, so I think that this happened, and I think that this person did it, and I don't know why. So I was right with who did it, because that's completely obvious. So I don't like that aspect of it. It's completely obvious. It's almost a cliche, right, of how obvious it is and who actually is responsible for this. So it got predictable. So that's the part that I didn't particularly care for. Again, what I really loved is the fact that while reading it, I visualized it being a bright and cheery neighborhood, and being friends with these women. Maybe they were friends of mine through the book. How's that? But they talk about Gucci and Gabbana and Burberry and that type of thing. That's not my style of living, so I don't know anything about that. I am more like your Old Navy person. But hey, you're reading a book. You can be anybody in a book, right? So yeah. Again, there isn't really much to say because I don't want to spoil it. It is good. It does have a lot of twists and turns. There were moments when there's this one moment, I will say this. Okay, there's this one moment where somebody has to sneak into a house, and you're visualizing everything. It's very descriptive. So you see the outfit, you see what's going on, you can feel the creeping and the quietness and then the scuffle and all of these things, and you just you're like, oh no, and it's you're almost afraid to read the next line or turn the next page because you're like, what's gonna happen? Oh my goodness, I can't look. But you have to read it because you have to find out what happens, right? So I loved that moment. I love that moment in that book. And there's quite a few of those moments where your heart is boom, 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 boom. And that is enjoyable. That is enjoyable. So yes, I highly recommend this. So if you like mysteries, you like, Desperate Housewives, this is for you. If you like conniving and, I don't know, some Melrose Place type stuff, 90s TV, Dynasty, Knots Landing, I don't know, am I naming any of them that you know of? Check it out. Check it out. It's On a Quiet Street by Seraphina Nova Glass. And again, it was March it was, May of 2022 is when the book was released. And yeah, I mean, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions on anything that you would like for me to read, or if you know a really good book that you like, hey, Sherry might, enjoy this book, please send it to me. Send me what you think is good, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. Any, comments or anything, let me know in the notes below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you know anybody that could benefit from this video or any of my videos from Bookmarked or DigiKast, DigiKast, please, share the love, share it. And again, I really appreciate all of you. I am SherrysJoy. I am part of the DigiKast. You can find me on Blue Sky at SherrysJoy. I am on Instagram at BookmarkedSJ. You can find the DigiKast on Instagram, YouTube, obviously. Blue Sky, we're not on Blue Sky for the DigiKast. We are on Blue Sky for the DigiKast. That will be in the video, but you can also find us on Spotify and Facebook at the DigiKast. And we have a bunch of things coming up. Please look, if you haven't checked out my tea and chocolate tasting video, check that out. We had some really good tea and chocolate with my friend, Blinky Tea, or Brooklyn Tea. Inside joke, Blinky Tea, shout out. And it was a wonderful time. It was in Wilmington, Delaware at the Scout Cafe, and it was such a beautiful cafe. I'm going to be doing a book review there at some point during the summer. And we went to a chocolate festival in DC at the French Embassy, and that was quite an experience. So that video will be coming out soon, so look for that. And in the meantime, thank you again, and I can't thank you enough for all the love and all the support. Love the world.